Hello, everybody. Good afternoon. It's me, DIGI. We are on the ground at Orlando International Airport. We're going to be doing a Caribbean flight today, flying to Nassau in the Bahamas. I may be doing a return flight depending on time and other constraints. Otherwise, I'm going to go ahead and enjoy myself for a quick run down to Mike Yankee November November. Feel free to join in, grab plenty of seats. They're available in first class and in economy, and we will be heading our way to Nassau very shortly. We are in X-Plane 12, and this is the TOLUS A319. This is the X-Plane 12 conversion, and I believe we are at gate 53. I need to actually change the SAM plugin that I'm using because I'm still using the old SAM plugin, and I heard there was a version of Open SAM available, but I'm not going to worry about jetway action. I'm not going to worry about any of that stuff. If it works, fine. If it doesn't, no problem. I've got my flight plan available through SimBrief, and I've got my Navigraph charts open in a separate browser window. So let's go ahead and start up the plane. I am flying this, without some of the trappings that I usually have in MSFS, like GSX or FS2 Crew. So we're going to do this the old-fashioned way. I'm going to go ahead and plug into the imaginary external power source. Actually, it's not imaginary because we actually have the TOLUS ISCS screen. So we are going to plug in high pressure and low pressure air. Chocks are set. Let's go ahead and get started with the loading process. External power on, and we'll get the batteries on as well. Do a quick fire check. And now we'll get the annunciator lights checked. Okay, looking good. Let's get the annunciator lights back down to bright, and we'll get the navs in alignment. Cruise supply, just so I don't forget to do it, and we'll get nav to position 1, and then we will turn turn up the overhead lighting, and get seat belts and no electronic sign on, arm the emergency lighting, and get the dome light brightness all the way up. Standby compass light on. That should be everything we need for upstairs. Let's go downstairs and start configuring this thing. So I'm going to go ahead and brighten up all the displays, including the weather if there is any. And we're going to do the same thing with the top display as well as the brightness settings for this screen as well as the bottom ones. So basically real-time day flight. So it's going to be a bright one out there, barring any major lack of visibility when we get to Nassau or fly back. And overhead lighting, and that should be everything at this point. Let's go ahead and start programming the flight, and we will go into the init page. So it's going to be MCO to Mike Yankee November November. There is no ATC at Orlando. There may be some ATC in Nassau still. We'll find out very shortly. And flight number is going to be American 197. Cost index for today's flight. I have to check the flight plan. Briefing preview is on my browser. Cost index is 18. And the cruise flight level is going to be 350. Max planned fuel for this route is 7,800 kilograms. And if we plug in to ISCS what we're expecting, we're going to be taking 145 passengers. Cargo for today is going to be 3,500 pounds. So 1,500 and 2,000. That's a problem. Zero fuel weight seems to be above max. So let's see. I'm going to say we're going to go with 135 passengers instead of 145 because we'd be way over. Cargo Fire, hello. Welcome aboard, my friend. Good to see you. Happy to have you aboard, my friend. It is a privilege having you aboard. We're in X-Plane 12. We're going to the Caribbean. And I'm going to go ahead and apply the load settings. We're going to take 7,800 kilos of fuel, quick refuel, and the numbers we're looking for are 57.8 at 28.1. Just let me know if you have any problems hearing me. We're going to get the plane really going shortly, but I'm just setting up the flight right now. I haven't checked in yet because I don't think there's any ATC on the ground at MCO. So, no, there isn't any. I'm on Unicom. Or I will be on Unicom once I get the plane started. Or the process started. So, there we go. We've got the initial numbers, and we've got extra 4,500 kilograms of fuel. Looks like an extra 2 hours and 24 minutes. We'll see. So MCO, we're going to take what I believe is the Danny 3 departure. Let's double check. Danny 3, yes. So we're going to be leaving on 3-5 left. Let's close this for now. Departure. Clear that message. Sorry about that. Thanks so much for checking, my friend. Really, really happy to have you aboard, buddy. Danny 3, and the transition, I believe, is G-Pod or JI-Pod or something. That's the flight plan. And once we get underway, we have to fly to, I think, a few directs. It's going to be Junip and then Zulu Foxtrot Papa. So we're going to punch those in right now. Junip and then Zulu Foxtrot Papa. And that would be interesting. It's a... Okay, it's going to be a VOR, so we're going to take the second one. We insert that, and then we're going to plug in the approach into Nassau. Ooh, Chirashi. Sounds interesting. I never had it, but sounds sounds like something reminiscent of like a poke bowl or something. Speaking of which, I wouldn't mind having some ramen right about now. But my expanding waistline says I should ease up on that a little bit. We will take an RNAV approach into Nassau. It's going to be normally 3-2 and no star. And we're probably going to do no via unless they tell me to go somewhere. They'll probably vector me for approach. Basically a bunch of sashimi and rice. Oh, go get it. Enjoy it, my friend. That sounds amazing. All right. Probably going to get rid of the discontinuity because that shouldn't affect my approach in. Oh, I'm sorry. It's not going to affect decision making for the approach into Nassau. And I'm going to insert that. So there is no discontinuity on the way out of Orlando. We have an intercept, but basically everything else should line right up. I'll try to pay attention as much as I can. And let's see, Zulu Foxtrot Papa, I need to actually add a bunch more waypoints. I'm missing Bravo Romeo 63 Victor. Bravo Romeo 63 Victor. Oh, hold on. I'm not doing something right here. I need to do an airway. I believe I do. So Bravo Romeo 63 Victor. Yeah, that's what it is. And then we're going to go to Zulu Quebec Alpha. which should be the way the VOR directly overhead Nassau, or right by it. And then if I take a look at the map, Melon, Kure, and then yeah, that's it, that's it, and it goes back to it goes back to Beirut, Burpo. Yep, yep. And the first waypoint on the approach is Seger. So we're actually pretty good. Seeger. Oh man, I'm sorry to hear that, Eric Flight. Yeah, you don't know how happy you just made me. Let me explain. No, there's too much. Let me sum up. uh, Inigo Montoya. Oh my word. The FMC is making sense. I'm very happy to hear that, my friend. That's fantastic. Uh, this flight in honor of Inigo Montoya. Oh, okay, so I believe the flight plan should be set at this point. I don't have any discontinuities, and after Zulu Foxtrot Papa, we're going to follow Bravo Romeo 63 Victor in to Zulu Quebec Alpha, and then we're going to take a discontinuity because I'm assuming they're going to vector me to the Arnav approach. You killed my father. Prepare to die. I liked when Inigo Montoya fought uh, the Dread Pirate Roberts because they they had they had incredible gentlemanly discourse while they were trying to sword fight each other to the death, which was pretty cool. So flight plan is set. Let's go ahead and confirm what our numbers should be for departure. Let's go back to the tool. We have the flight plan. I'm probably going to pick flaps 1 for departure. We've certainly got the runway for it. I still think that's fantastic. Wait, let me explain. No, there's too much. Let me sum up. So flaps 1 plus flaps 1 plus slats is 137, 144, and 146. And my GPS aligned, which is great. Let's go ahead and plug that in. We'll be taking flaps. We'll be taking flaps 1 with an up of 0.3. Up of 0.3. Transition altitude, we're in the States, 18,000, and flex temp will be 67. So there we go, that's a performance. And GPS is aligned. That's it. We're good. I know something you don't know. I am not offended. I know something you don't know. Neither am I. Okay, so flight plan is set, and I could care less about whether or not the jetway is connected. I'm not worried about that right now. I'm just here to have a good time. The initial climb on the Danny 3 is what? Let's take a look at the departure. Departure says initial climb is 7,000. So we'll set this for 7,000 right now. 7,000 is set, and our computers are set, so we're ready to actually do the thing. Now, unlike MSFS, I can't hit the B button, so I have to check my profile to see what the METAR is at Orlando by using VATSPY. METAR is going to say altimeter 2985. The winds are 240 at 7 gusts 15. So 2985. 2985 set, and we're going to turn on constraints and landing scales because I'm lazy as all get out. And we're going to go ahead and set the transponder code because we're going to use the automated system, the kind of guided ATC, and it's going to be 7320. That's a squawk. And we're going to do transponder mode Charlie right now. And there we go. So I don't think I have to talk to ATC, but I will go ahead and set my radios appropriately. We're going to do 122.8 like we should do as good little pilots. And I'm going to set this up on... Do I need to set this up on both radios? I don't think so. Just the one is fine. So the radios are set. Let's go ahead and get the fuel connected and going. And I also reinstalled, I also reinstalled, what am I trying to say? I also reinstalled better pushback, so we'll get the nice better pushback treatment getting out of here. Nav and logo 2, beacon light on, dome light off, and we're going to get the APU started up now. Actually, I need to wait like 2 or 3 more seconds. There we go. So we'll get the APU bleed open immediately, and that should allow me to just let the APU go, and we'll check. While that's loading up, let me go ahead and check the other options. Fuel is, again, 7,800 kilos, which is the max. External power is the power for now. And cabin pressure is automatic. No fuel used yet, I don't think. APU's coming up. And we have a nice cold rear cabin because I like my passengers cold and compliant. Doors are closed, slides are armed, and nothing for the hydraulics working so far. We're normal to the line, and that's it. APU is almost set. Let's go ahead and take a look at the surroundings. There is no one around me, and there are some people at the airport. So I'm going to go ahead and assume that people are listening on frequency or will be shortly. And I'm going to go and enjoy myself. Let's just double check to make sure we're actually transmitting. Orlando traffic, American 107 is type Airbus A319, pushing back gate 53 for transit to runway 35 left for departure. Orlando traffic. And let's go ahead and get started. So, APU bleed is on. Let's go upstairs and turn off the external power. And also, let's get the, let me make sure the, parking brake is set so I can remove the chocks. And I'll go to ground services. Chocks are gone. Low pressure, high pressure, air off, external power is gone. And let's call a better pushback and get going. Pre-planning the pushback, we're going to go basically back here. Nothing really fancy, just basically back to the end of the line. There we go.
All right, Captain, got the directions. Let me know through the menu when you're ready.
And we are ready, so let's go ahead and request pushback now.
Great news, Captain. Your tow's coming.
Fantastic. There it is. And is there anything that I forgot to do upstairs? Let's see. IRS is aligned. Crew supplies up. Doors are closed. Slides are armed. So we're pressurized, or we will be pressurized shortly. We're running off of APU. And I could probably turn on my probe heat now if I wanted to, but I'll wait until the actual machine is started up. I will wait until we're done with pushback to get all the lights into position. Dome lights off, standby compass is on, annunciator lights are set the way I want them, emergency lights are armed, seatbelts are on, seatbelt sign and no electronic signs are on, and that should be it.
All right. Looks like the doors and hatches are closed and we're ready to connect.
That's right, Kev. My toe is on the end of my foot. And TGIF also means toes go in first. That joke's a shoe-in. Get it? But psh. Oh, I need some floodlighting on the main panels. It's looking a little dark. That should do it. My APU is like really quiet.
Welcome aboard, Captain. Tow's connected, bypass pins inserted. Go and kill the parking brake when you're ready to go.
Okay, parking brake should be this guy.
Here comes the pushback. Light them up.
Alright, here we go. Block timer's on. We're expecting an hour 25-minute block time from gate to gate. And we can go ahead and start the engines up now. Ignition mode to crank, and we'll start engine 2. Engine should fire up relatively quickly the moment that we actually get to a good spot for fuels when it's going to do the thing. EGT past 100 degrees, and then it should take off pretty quickly. Let me double check my levels. I wanted to make sure that the audio is fine. I am hearing some audio. I'll give you guys a little bit more. Hopefully not too much more, but we're at minus 22. I was at minus 25 just now. 19.6 available, engine 1 start, and we will do flaps 1. And an up of 0.3 should be all I need. That's pretty close. PTU's coming on. And we'll get the transponder TARA set. I'll wait until we're disconnected to actually get the weather and GCS and PWS set. Cockpit door locked.
Just about done here. Go ahead and set your parking brake.
Parking brake set.
And we're disconnecting the tow. Give me just a moment.
Okay, both engines available, which means I'm going to go ahead and turn probe heat on and APU bleed off, turn the master off, and we will get the landing lights dropped into place and strobe to auto and pack flow to normal. Anything else I'm missing? Not right now. We're fine. Once they disconnect, I'm going to go ahead and turn the taxi light on. But, I mean, again, it's a really bright day out, real time, real weather. So I don't think people are going to care if my taxi light isn't on. I'm not going for bleeding edge realism today, although there was a time when I did. So if you like doing that, go for it. Otherwise,
And we're disconnected. Signal and pin on the left. Take it easy and have a safe flight.
there we go. Now I can take the taxi light on the nose, and that should do it. So I'm assuming there we go. My friend, good old reliable friend, Pushback Gary, is going to be giving us the handoff and showing us the gear pin as well. Immersional damage. There we go. Good to see you again, Gary. All right. So we're good. Let's go ahead and do a flight controls check real fast to make sure that we're set. And we are full left, full right, full forward, and full back. Just one more double check. Full forward and full back. And then we have full left and full right rudder deflection. And I thought there was a button that I used to press for... Okay, that's my reversers. And do I have... Okay, that's to arm the spoiler. What about to deploy it? There we go. Speed brakes deployed and speed brakes stowed. And we are flaps 1 right now, I believe. Where can I see that? Right there. Flaps 1. So let's arm the spoilers. Spoilers are armed. Auto brake max. And we'll get the cabin and the config checked once we get close to runway 35 left. So I'll double check my map real fast. Connect, please. Thank you. 35 left is going to be a little bit of a taxi today, not much. We're going to be going through the air side to Echo 1 and then turning left onto Foxtrot. Then Foxtrot to Golf and Golf all the way down to Hotel 10 for departure 35 left. Oh, you know what? I should probably be talking on CTAF, shouldn't I? That would be a very good idea. So, ground. Where's Common Traffic Advisory frequency? Is that ground or is that... Let's see. D-ATIS, clearance, ground, tower, Orlando departure. I don't know what the CTAF would be other than ground clearance or ground west and east. Let me see. CTAF, KMCO. What would that be? Common Traffic Advisory Frequency. Okay, so I'm going to go to the frequently asked questions real fast. And part-time towers, towers in continuous operation. Oh, so I have to go to Sky Vector. Let me go real fast. Sky Vector, go to KMCO, and we're going to figure it out really quickly. Orlando, CTAF is 118.45. Let's tune that. Okay. Oh, that's interesting. I can't tune it through the keyboard commands like I used to. Okay, no worries. Let's just tune it. Let's just tune it. Let's just do it real fast. 118.45. 118.45 set. That should be it. Orlando traffic, American 107 type Airbus A319, taxiing runway 35 left via airside 3, Foxtrot, Golf, Hotel 10, Orlando traffic. All right, let's go ahead and release the parking brake and get going. All right, now, if anybody is still here, I am actually using X-Plane 12 with a set of very old joystick and flight throttle quadrant controls. I had these from when I used a Xbox 360 pretty actively. It was a joystick that shipped with Ace Combat 6 Fires of Liberation, and it's called the Ace Edge. And basically, it's a pretty neat Xbox 360 controller that doubles as basically a HOTAS. It's very simple. It's it's an enjoyable experience, and I have like pretty much full control over any aspect of the throttle quadrant. The only problem I have with my Thrustmaster T16000M HOTAS setup is that the throttle quadrant is very sticky. There's like a strong feeling of having detents all over the place. So like you can leave the throttle in any position, but it's very hard to get it moving. And I'm not sure if it's because the assembly kind of bent and crimped in places, or if it's just that I need to like oil it or something. I don't disassemble things very often anymore, so it's also not something that I'm worried about doing right this instant. But the old flight stick edge that I have is amazing because the throttle action is super smooth. Ooh, JetBlue, very nice. Very nice. Don't know if that's an exact model match, but it's pretty good. Oh wait, hold on. It is a model match because we do have JetBlue. I just don't know if it's the exact delivery, but that's close enough for me. So again, auto brake max is set, and we'll check cabin and takeoff config once we're ready to go. If anyone is joining me for the first time today, welcome aboard. My name is DIGI Driver. I'm a flight sim streamer. I'm somebody that occasionally makes scenery for Microsoft Flight Sim. Today we are in X-Plane 12, and I am enjoying some time in the TOLUS A319. We're flying to Nassau today. Depending on how much time it takes and what my schedule is for the rest of the evening, I may do a return, but I am not worried about it if I have to stop once I get to Nassau. Smooth FPS, right? Oh man. I'm telling you, Cargo, watching you fly and doing an initial flight of about a week ago in X-Plane 12, it just made me remember how much I enjoyed the sim. I played it like more than a few times when I first got X-Plane 12, but then I kind of put it down because I was really indexing on MSFS, and there's nothing wrong with that. I enjoyed it, but when I went back to it a few days ago, a few weeks ago, I realized I was like, Wow. It's been a very, very long time since I actually did anything with the sim. And it looks like we have a British Airways flight way out in front, which is probably going to take off on 35 left as well. And I think they're a 757. I can't tell. They're probably at least a 75 or a 76. But that is amazing. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and set myself up to climb this little hill, and we're going to turn on passenger notification. And what else? Not much at the moment. We'll do takeoff config checks once we get to the runway. I can tell you what, I mean, it really does feel so nice right now. Even if my VRAM isn't the absolute best at the moment. Uh, I'm sorry, even if my textures aren't the absolute best right now, it just looks so wonderful. And I think it's probably just the 3D models. So, again, I'm not worried about that. To me, MSFS is a great, entertaining flight sim. I still like it so much. X-Plane 12 for me is proving itself very good at one thing: simulating the experience of flying a plane. I'm not talking about, GSX right now. I'm not talking about, you know, voice commands. I'm just talking about enjoying flying an aircraft. And the fact that I have this installed, the fact that I still have P3D installed means I haven't given up on the idea of doing a future P3D stream. I have hundreds of dollars worth of scenery and land class from Orbex installed. So you better believe I'm going to go ahead and enjoy it. This is a wonderful, wonderful experience, and I fully intend to continue enjoying it as long as I have the means to do so. And right now, I still do. Um, how am I financially right now? Uh, Not in the best place. So there's definitely an ongoing moratorium on any flight sim purchases. I'm just using a Prime subscription to support my friends. I'm I'm doing what I can. Money's tight right now, so I'm doing the best I can. I'm not saying this so anyone listening gives me money. If you're in the same situation as me, hold on to every penny you have. Make frugal, wise, enjoyable decisions with your time and efforts, and just enjoy hanging out here. You never have to give me a penny to spend time in chat. In fact, if you say hello, you've already made me feel great. If you lurk, bring your friends, bring up the channel algorithm. You don't even have to say hello, you don't even have to follow. But if you sub, cheer, or donate, you're definitely gonna get my appreciation and my thank you. Team Ikimas! Ikimas! Let's go! Oh man. You know what? You know what? Maybe I'll have to find a way to create an Ikimas livery, Team Ikimas. and then and then what I could do is support the, Team Ikimas Racing. That would be fantastic. That'd be absolutely fantastic. So I'm probably going to switch over to 122.8 once we get in position. But so far so good. And yes, it does look like it's a 7.6 or 7.5. Yeah, 7.6. 7.6. It looks chunky. So certainly I'm gonna have to watch out for wake turbulence. That I think XP12 does simulate wake turbulence. So yeah, let's go ahead and switch back. Look at that. Yeah, they're gonna be busy for a while. I don't know, man. Maybe one of these days I'll do a redemption flight for my 747 op to London from JFK. Maybe, or at least do larger and larger flights. I might even be able to use the VMAX 787 but I don't know if it's compatible with any CPDLC stuff that happens in X-Plane 12 or in MSFS, so I'm not going to worry about it. And I am on. Okay, I'm on Unicom. Am I supposed to be on Unicom? Because I'm about to take off. Okay, I'm not going to sweat it too much. I'll be more than happy to do whatever it is that ATC needs me to do. There is no ATC here, so I'm just going to go ahead and wait it out. I'll get myself like 30 seconds. Okay. I'll give myself like 30 seconds once they clear, just to make sure I'm all set. We have. Let's check off takeoff config while I wait. Okay, so we're takeoff no blue right now. Is there anybody on the runway? I don't think so. No. No. Wonderful looking bird. I like it. All right. Real quick check. Let's go ahead and configure ourselves for takeoff right now. Get lights and strobes. Actually, turn the. No, keep the nose light on takeoff. Wing lights on. And that should be it. Lights are up. Yeah, yeah, I think so. Only thing I haven't done is actually set the timer. That's fine. I haven't gotten in trouble in VATSIM in a long time anyway. Bring it on. Although I might disconnect if this person stays there for a while. I'm guessing they're waiting for traffic to clear. Let me take a look at VATSPY real fast. We have 7 departures right now. There's no traffic in the vicinity, although there is somebody coming in from Detroit into Orlando, but they're still like a good maybe 10 or so nautical miles out. They might have been waiting for somebody to clear traffic, but again, I didn't see anybody. I've got 7,800 kilograms of fuel that I took with me for the flight, so them waiting a little while loitering, that's not going to wreck me. In fact, we are still at 7,600 kilograms of fuel for the flight. We should be just fine. Ooh, there we go. Orlando traffic, American 107 lining up and waiting, runway 35 left, Orlando. Parking brake release. Hit the chrono buttons. Alright, flight attendants, seats for departure. And we will get rolling. Oh, they just took off. Dude. Look at that. That's a bird. Ooh, blue skies, British Airways. That's a beauty of a takeoff. There it is. They basically just yeeted the thing. Alright, so displays set, and let's go ahead and get going. I'm going to go ahead and say another 15-20 seconds, we should be fine. They're leaving right now, and they're going to be going to London Gatwick. Orlando traffic, American 107 departing 35 left on the Danny 3 departure, Orlando. Parking brake release. There we go. %, just about. And stable enough. Here we go. Manflex SRS runway. Auto thrust blue. Throw up those Flex SRS runway emotes if you have them. 80 knots seen. Auto brake max is on standby, but we're not going to use it. We're fully committed. V1 and rotate with V2 shortly afterwards. And up and away. Positive rate of climb. Gear up. .400 autopilot. And climb set. Orlando traffic, American 197, 2000 for 7000, climbing the final cruise on the Danny 3, direct to go home, Orlando traffic. And that's it. So, we're configured for the climb, except for us putting the slats away. We're almost there. I'll turn my nose lights off. And getting right to that point. And there we go. Done. There we go. Delta's still coming in. Let me see if I can see them. I might have to redo my American ortho because I don't see any ortho in Florida right now. Not that it matters. X-Plane 12 is so amazing that even default scenery sometimes looks great. But I'm probably going to rerun or re-download my American ortho tiles. I might do that. I might do that on a case-by-case basis, but so far today's flight looks like it kind of got borked. So we'll see. Also, just a quick check. We have TAT-27 and SAT-18, so there's no need for anti-ice. Let's go ahead and disable the ground spoilers. One thing I forgot to do was to turn on my weather systems, but that's fine. BWS and GCS on. I'd rather forget to start my weather systems than forget something else. We're approaching 7,000, and what did I say my final climb for today was? It was going to be 350. Let's go ahead and set that up right now. 350 set. Done. Ignition is still in crank. Let's go ahead and set it normal. So ignition normal. Weather, BWS, GCS on. We turned the nose lights off. Landing lights on through 10,000. And we are approaching 7,500. Yeah, we hooked a sharp right, and British Airways is still going like north-northwest, so we are good. I'll keep my joysticks with me for a little while. I might keep them next to me because the connector on the old joystick is very sensitive. Otherwise, I think we're fine. Let's see. Let's keep the cabin cold. Not that cold. Alright. That's cold. Give us a little bit of cooling as well. And probe window heat's on. Let's see. Nav set, pressure set. Probe heat's on. 10,000 feet. Turn the wing lights off for now. And that is it. Flaps up, lights out. 10,000 feet and climbing. throttle climb, we should be okay. And we are keeping the throttle climb to 10. So, there we are. Again, my apologies that the ortho didn't kick in for some reason. Either it did and I cleared the cache thinking that I was getting rid of extra files but actually cleared tiles, or this actually is not a part of the American Auto Ortho download, which, oh, that might explain why. I never turned on Auto Ortho. It's okay. Honestly, it's okay. For a flight this short, I'm not even going to worry about it. I might, if I decide to do a second flight, I might try it in MSFS just to fly back into the default bespoke deluxe airport that we have for KMCO and see what the default scenery looks like right now. And do we have any ATC online at Nassau right now? We still do, and hopefully they know I'm coming so they'll keep the lights on. If they don't, that's fine. We're climbing at about 2,600 feet per minute. Yeah, that's why I didn't see ortho. I didn't have auto ortho turned on. I'm kinda sorta tempted to actually turn it on right now, but the easier thing to do, probably the safer thing to do, might be to just wait until I get to Nassau and then fly back from Nassau into Orlando. That way we can probably enjoy it even more. I mean, sheesh, default scenery in the tropics, you're enjoying the whole experience anyway. Who cares if I don't see ortho in Nassau when I get there? It everything's just probably going to be arranged so nicely anyway. Don't need no stinking ortho for water. It's fine. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate that. Okay, let's take a quick peek at the livery outside. Earphone warning. It might get loud. Feel free to tune me down in 3, 2, 1. I do have Sim Heaven installed. I have Sim Heaven X America. I forget what version, but basically there's so much autogen it dumps in. It's such a treat. The only other alternative would be having the default scenery turned up to like max, but I'm not even using it at max. I'm using it at high, and it's still amazing. It's so nice. Seriously, it's amazing. I don't have that many add-on sceneries installed right now, to be honest with you. I have the Nimbus, old Nimbus MCO scenery installed right now, which is great. It still works. But other than a few airports, I'm using the updated airports that come with like every world scenery update or something in X-Plane 12. So we're good. Standard pressure. Let's go ahead and release the flight crew just for giggles. And way, way, way out that way is the shuttle landing runway in Cape Canaveral. We are feet wet in the Atlantic Ocean, or basically the sea between Florida and the Bahamas. It's a lovely day for a flight, and the default clouds in X-Plane 12 look so nice. I'm gonna get a little nitpicky. I like what X Enviro did for so long, in creating and engineering clouds that looked amazing on top of weather and rain effects, but I find myself drifting back to the default clouds and default effects in X-Plane 12. I feel like when they released 12, or I'm sorry, I feel like X-Plane 12 in general has a better overall experience with weather. Obviously, native cloud generation and native weather downloads are going to be much better because they're engineered to work in the system they're in. Xenviro looks pretty, don't get me wrong, but the default cloud arrangements, weird as they can be sometimes, still make things look more three-dimensional than the plate-based rendering that I've seen happen more than once with Xenviro. And I mean, it's at the point now where we're basically splitting clouds, and you can enjoy them one way or the other. I like default right now, but I might try flying a flight or two in the future with Xenviro turned back on, especially since I've re-downloaded the latest update to see whether or not, certain scenarios are really great versus others. It's okay. Well on our way to flight level 350, and I think, let's see. Yeah, Junip is going to be top of climb, and then Seeger is going to be top of drop. So there's about 70 nautical miles. About 70, let's see, 20, 60, yeah, about 70 nautical miles between cruise and drop. And then a little bit less than an hour to actually get to Nassau. Oh, wait a minute, that's right. I completely forgot. It whatchamacallit, I guess they hired him, they brought him on. I mean, I remember the old days when we used to have 2D sprites, and there were some people that made some very good sprite packs for clouds. But at the same time, once everybody went volumetric, I mean, it was kind of hard at first, and now it's just like I'm not going back to sprite clouds. Volumetric is basically the way it just works. So I never had Active Sky XP. I always had Xenviro. Since I think version 1.1 or 1.11 when they first debuted volumetric clouds. But yeah, yeah. It, like the proof is in the pudding. If the default clouds look this good and the overall weather presentation is this great, then clearly we've got a winner on our hands. Ooh, I think I see some ships on the ground. Ooh, a tanker. Nice. Look at that, chat. Look at that. You can really zoom in. That's superb. The last time I saw a two-dimensional storm anvil was Microsoft Flight Simulator 5.1. The last time I dealt with a really nasty thunderstorm in a flight sim was when I was flying to Key West. I don't know how many years ago. This is probably 2023 when they were starting to experiment with really beefing up the weather model. And there were some storms or tropical storms that had just passed through, and the winds were gusting. That was right around the time when people were having the argument, which one gives you a better simulation of physics. And I was being bounced around a lot by the winds, and I'm like, MSFS, it felt good. I'm so far past the idea of debating, oh, one's great, the other one sucks. No, no, I don't care. I don't care. I have MSFS, I have X-Plane, I have P3D. I can fly whichever one I want, whenever I want, for whatever reason, and they all bring a different experience. If I want to get nostalgic, I'll fly P3D. If I want a great overall experience, I'll fly MSFS. If I want to simulate flying a plane by myself, it's going to be X-Plane 12. Amazing. Do we have anybody in the remote area? No. I'm like all by my lonesome flying out to to Nassau. We're probably gonna get some ATC once I start getting close to descent, but right now it is what it is. And we're not even gonna see top of drop until we get close to Grand Bahama. Grand Bahama Mama. So welcome aboard, everybody. We're on VATSIM today. You can follow me on, I think you can still use SimAware, or follow me on your choice of flight tracking software as American 197. I am an Airbus A319. We're currently flying to, I think it's Lyndon Pindeling International Airport, which is in Nassau. It's Mike Yankee November, November. And we had a very nice takeoff out of Orlando, where I realized I just memed myself because I didn't have my orthographic scenery running. But who cares? It's a great flight. Default scenery looks wonderful on X-Plane 12, and I'm enjoying the sim. I'm still on the fence about a second flight today because I'm wondering when I'm going to wrap up and what I want to make in terms of like dinner and whatnot, but we'll see. If it turns out to be a second flight, then I'll definitely exit the sim, come back, and we'll reload with ortho. And that'll kind of give you guys the difference in terms of how strongly I feel about using auto ortho in X-Plane 12. But I can tell you I've got like two flights under my belt so far this past month, and auto ortho is lovely. I have it installed in most geographic regions, if not all of them. So I may be getting back to doing some international flying. Like, I'm not talking about the Bahamas. I'm actually talking about flying in Europe, flying in the Indian Ocean, maybe going to like the Maldives. I think it's either Maldives or Mauritius or whatever that island is. Flying in and out of Australia and going to maybe even Christmas Island or something, New Zealand. I haven't actually flown in X-Plane in New Zealand, at least not in a very long time. So we'll see what happens. Okay, let me check my levels right now. Levels actually pretty good. Okay. Um, yeah, actually they're really good. I feel better now. I'm not gonna lie. Earlier, I just felt drained. I, d- I don't know if the rain caught up with me or if it was just that I was just mentally tired, but I just like sat down and you ever get to a place where like you literally don't move for like a solid half an hour or longer? That was me earlier. So we're gonna get to the place where we have to start planning our descent soon. So I'm gonna go ahead and leave this here, and I'm getting some messages as well. I just got some messages through the Auto ATC platform. Automated guidance. Resume own navigation as Auto ATC does not offer separation services and is not available everywhere. So the Auto ATC gave me some advice from Miami Center to descend and maintain 13,000. I'm going to go ahead and descend and maintain 13,000 after I cross Seeger, but it's going to be my first descent. So I will do that now. I will set 13,000 for initial descent, but if Auto ATC chimes in, hey, descend now, we told you, then I'll do it. NASA altimeter is going to be 2992. So, what does that mean? That means I can plan my performance and I can say 2992 for NASA. Temperature at NASA, let's go ahead and find out. They do have ATIS, so I'll go ahead and check that out. Info Delta, and winds are 320 at 14. 320 at 14. Temperature is going to be 29, 2.22. And the decision height, let's find out. That would be interesting, Cargo. It would make the experience way more of a trip than even I expected. So, what am I looking for? I'm looking for the RNAV approach. The decision height, the MDA is going to be 328 feet. And if we land flaps 3, we're going to be landing. It doesn't matter. We can land flaps full and it's going to be 130. VREF is 135. That's fine. I'm okay with that. They'd be ahead of the FAA. Nice. Okay, am I missing anything overhead? I don't think so. I don't think so. What am I forgetting to do? Am I forgetting to do anything? No, because I set my performance. We're not landing flaps 3, so I don't have to mess around with any of the settings that are here. So it is what it is. And once we get to top of drop, we'll begin descent, and then we should be able to get down to 13,000 probably in the first 70 of the 120 nautical miles before Hank. That's what I'm assuming. Oh, so the top of drop is actually before Seeger. Okay. Okay. Once we cross Zulu Foxtrot Papa, once we cross Grand Bahama, we'll begin descent. Is there anyone around me at all? No. No. The sea is wide open. Looking lovely out here. All right. 30 nautical miles. 5,920 kilos of fuel left on board. The initial planning said we'd have an extra 4,500 available. If we had to divert, I forget what the flight plan said the alternate was. Let's take a look. Alternate is Miami. That'd be roughly, I think, like a 35-minute diversion or something like that. 22 nautical miles. I need to, I think, oh no, wait, I did update Avitab, but for some reason my X-Plane 12 will not let me tie the Navigraph link back to my account. There's some kind of RSHA signature failure, which doesn't let me proceed. So, I don't know why. It's okay though. I'm fine with just using the SimBrief sim brief pages and what am I trying to say? I'm okay with using the sim brief pages and things in my browser. How long? 15. We're getting close. Trying to figure out what I'm gonna do for dinner tonight. I have some leftover rotisserie chicken in the not the freezer, in the fridge. I might throw some rice together and have some other stuff with it as well. I don't know much else past that point. I might throw some spinach in there for some flavor and, well, not for flavor, just for the vitamins. And then make some tea. I can't drink more coffee because I have an early morning tomorrow. And then back to the week. But I can tell you, I am starting to get very comfortable flying an X-Plane 12 again, and that makes me smile. I guess it depends what I want to do, but I don't know. We'll figure it out. Not gonna lie, some days are definitely easier than others in terms of, figuring out food and budget and time. I do sometimes wish that it was easier in that there wasn't as much of a problem that I had with all my finances, but I'm learning lessons right now, so I don't think it's time for me to, you know, just feel bummy. I'll do the best that Yahweh Elohim lets me, and then I'm just going to lean on Him and be like, hey, I need your help. No weather at the moment. And why are we not descending? That's interesting. Because I didn't do manage. Okay, there's literally no one around me, so there's literally 0 point in announcing my intentions. I'm just going to go ahead and descend. We do have tower online at Nassau, so we're going to go ahead and tune the radio. It's going to be 119.5. I'll have that on standby. And ladies and gentlemen from the flight deck, this is your captain speaking. We have begun our initial descent into Nassau. Those of you that were not seated with your seatbelts fastened probably felt a feeling of weightlessness as you tried to make it back to your seats but couldn't because you realized you were disconnected from the floor of the aircraft. You might want to sit down the next time the fasten seatbelt sign comes on. At any rate, your feet are returning to the floor of the aircraft now, so you should be fine. We have caught up with the optimal descent path for our way into Nassau. We should be on the ground in about, I'd say, 30 minutes. Weather over there is 29 degrees centigrade, so bring your suntan lotion and hopefully you'll have a great time at the beach or at the resorts. If you are connecting with any cruise ship voyages, you'll probably be going to the Leeward Islands in the Caribbean. And again, no refunds. Thank you. 4,000 feet per minute, I think, is emergency descent speed if you have a cabin depressurization. I don't think planes can descend much more quickly than that because I think once you get past, I think, and this is just a guess on my part, once you get past 4,500 feet per minute, I think you start to toy with the structural limitations of the descent rate of most passenger aircraft. At least, that's what I'm guessing. I don't think this version of the Tolas family exactly has a VNAV where like you set the next waypoint, the next altitude and leave it alone. But now that we're descending, it should allow me to obey or to follow certain altitude restrictions because we're doing managed descent instead of open descent. We should be okay. We'll reach 13,000 before Melon, and then where will we need to be at that point? Let me check. Nowhere in particular. As long as we can get to the first waypoint in the RNAV approach directly on the beam is going to be 2,000 feet. So we'll see. Again, I'm kind of waiting to I'm kind of waiting to get a call from Tower as we start seeing the island come into view. I'm not expecting to see the island for another 20 minutes. I don't think. Which means when we get factored in, when we land, and when we park up, it's probably going to be somewhere around 7:20. We're going to be flirting with like 7:30, maybe 8:30 real time, but I don't think they're an hour ahead. I think they're still in Eastern time. Bermuda is, but we're not flying there. I might one day though. It's been a very long time since I've tried flying to Bermuda in any sim. We got some clouds forming. Some what is that? Cumulostratus or whatever you want to call it. Yeah, it looks like an iron on the bottom, but I don't think there's enough activity to turn it into a rain cloud. Ooh, look at that. That's beautiful. Coming up on 13,000, let's go ahead and arm the ground spoilers and set auto brake medium. When we land on 3, 2, what will we expect? We're going to be going to gate Charlie 42, which is an apron 2. We can probably take our sweet time landing and go, I don't know, 2/3 of the way, almost the entire runway down. So we'll do auto brake low. We don't need medium today. And that should do it. We'll peel off at Foxtrot, Foxtrot Hotel 3, Hotel 2, to the apron. Lyles, welcome aboard. Happy to see you, friend. We are on descent on the way to Nassau in the Bahamas. We've been flying now for a little over 36 minutes, and we took off from Orlando International Airport in Orlando, Florida. We are flying down to Nassau in X-Plane 12, and we've had a nice chat, catching up with some friends, and plenty of folks in chat that are probably lurking. So, welcome. I am, friend. Earlier, I was wiped, but now, catching up with everybody, it's nice to get, nice little burst of energy. Also, I think I had to wait for my coffee to kick in from earlier, so that might explain why. I don't know if I'm the only one that experiences this, but It takes somewhere between 30 to 40 minutes for any coffee I drink to kick in. You've been tired all day. Well, hopefully you've got some good rest in, and I hope that you feel very much better very soon. God bless you. Even in the middle of all the difficulty that I've been kind of, mucking around and dealing with, I'm just grateful for the opportunities that I have right now and to be where I am. I A good hour at least. Great, great. Some people I know are having difficulty getting rested or maybe getting restful sleep. Some people are struggling. And like I mentioned, I hope and pray that everyone is having an okay day today. If you're not, just know that you are loved and appreciated by my Heavenly Father, Yahweh Elohim. And my prayer is that all my chat comes to know and trust Jesus as Lord and Savior. He is Yeshua, the King of Kings and Lord of Lords. I've given my heart and soul to Him to let Him be the Lord and Savior of my life. And He's available to anybody that wants to confess on His name and believe that God raised Him from the dead to pay for their sins and to give them newness of life and support through all the difficulties that they'll face. Now, I want you to understand, I want you to know Him and to be saved by Him, but I'm not going to push it on you. If that is not what you believe, if that's not what you want to believe, then I just, I'm going to respect you and let you hang out here without trying to shove my ideology in front of anybody. I just want you to be welcome and appreciated here. Now, obviously, I'm a born again Christian. I'm going to talk about my Savior Jesus. If that's not something that you'd like to hear, then fair warning, you're going to keep hearing it because I want to talk about him. With that said, though, you're welcome to hang out. How far away are we? We're coming up on 16,000 feet, and we are coming up on maybe like 2 or 3 waypoints away from overflying the airport. And I don't see the island just yet, but we should be coming into view. Oh, I think that's it. Yeah, so we've literally got like maybe 15, 20 minutes to go. That's wonderful. All right, flight attendants, we're beginning final descent now. There we go. 1,700 feet per minute. We're on our way down to 13,000 feet. And Remo112, thank you for the follow. Welcome to the DIGI fam. Hope you enjoy your stay. I am a flight sim enthusiast, occasional scenery developer, and I dabble in other games on stream. Sometimes I will play American Truck Simulator or Euro Truck Simulator, and I do still appreciate the occasional retro game. I like some old Amiga games, and I like the Commodore 64. I grew up playing games on the MS-DOS PC line of computer systems before Windows 95 came up, and then Windows 98 showed up, and then basically everybody was just like either Windows or Mac, and then you know the pace of, I guess, computer innovation really took off. I appreciate having a new follower along, and I hope that you enjoy the trip. I don't have a set schedule right now, but I'm usually shooting for at least one stream a week. For a while, about 3 or 4 years ago, I was doing a weekly stream on Sundays, and I kept that up for a while, and then basically said, okay, I'm going to go ahead and take a break from that. I reinvented myself as a scenery developer, and then I decided to go to making airports. I released an airport professionally, and I want to do more. I just need to get my schedule in order. Is Microsoft Flight Sim or Explained better? Hmm. To be honest, it really depends on you. I I I'm way less of a fanboy than I used to be. I I I will go on record as saying that I've liked using Flight Sim for a long time. I'm gonna go ahead and manually vector myself down to, let me see, what's the airport altitude? Airport altitude is gonna be 16 feet. I'm gonna vector myself down to 5,000. Manage descent. I'm big on board with Microsoft Flight Simulator. Microsoft Flight Simulator, or what we call 2020, which was released in August of 2020. It's a wonderful, visually pleasing flight simulator. If you don't know anything about flight simulation and you want to get started, Microsoft Flight Simulator is I think, the quickest to pick up. You can get it through Steam or through the Microsoft Store. It comes with the most amount of visually pleasing scenery thrown in. You stream the scenery to your computer, but at the same time, a lot of the scenery base is, I think, installed on your computer. And you also get what's called photogrammetric scenery, which is basically scenery that looks really, really close to what you'd see in real life. So if you took a plane and you flew over New York City, you would see Manhattan, Brooklyn, Queens. You would see the Statue of Liberty. You would see a lot of visible, recognizable landmarks. Now, I'm currently in X-Plane 12. One of the benefits of X-Plane 12 is that it uses a different way of doing things like rendering or performing physics. So they have this thing called, I believe it's called the leading edge model, which basically, instead of having these things called lookup tables, which old sims like Microsoft Flight Simulator and P3D used to have many, many years ago, X-Plane, I guess, actively calculates physics and wind on the fly. So the experience, I think, is more fluid. In other words, you're gonna get an experience which resembles more what you might get if you fly a general aviation aircraft, or you fly a, what am I trying to say? If you fly in a regional aircraft or an airliner, whatever you fly, the I'm not going to say you're gonna feel like you're flying through the air, but the overall experience, especially from the perspective of graphics optimization, is that everything's going to feel different. It's going to feel in some ways smoother. If you like if you like visual eye candy, there's nothing wrong with saying, "Hey, I'm going to get the standard edition of Microsoft Flight Simulator and enjoy it." I don't know if they're still selling Microsoft Flight Simulator. I know they're selling Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024. If you're not sure what sim you want to get, Microsoft has a store, has also has the Xbox Game Pass. If you get the Game Pass and you're a PC user, you can try out the standard version of Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024 and see for literally a few dollars, maybe 15, 20 bucks, if it's a sim you want. If it is, you can keep paying that fee on a monthly basis, or you can buy the game outright. The standard version, I think, costs like 70 bucks or something. And there's also higher versions which incorporate more built-in scenery and more aircraft you can fly. It's totally up to you. I would recommend going on YouTube at this point. There's plenty of people that have disseminated and broken down what the overall experience is going to be. But at the same time, I would strongly advise, taking a few minutes to think about your decision before you actually push the button and buy something. Again, X-Plane 12 is probably going to be a very nice choice for you if you're interested in actually flying a plane IRL, because I feel like the wealth of resources which are going to be available are probably going to help you out way, way, way more, because You'll probably be dealing with people that have more of an active interest in flying IRL. Now, this isn't to say that there aren't real world pilots that don't fly MSFS, on their break time. They probably might do that just to get a feel for the place they're going to be flying to, what it looks like from the air, visual cues, how it matches with their airline's standard operating procedures, stuff like that. So, get whichever one makes you happy. Get whichever one you think is cooler. Get whichever one is going to be more of a match for your style and exactly what you want to do. And that's it. You could you could even go on the Lockheed Martin website and buy prepared version 6. They now have a personal license, which means you can buy what the old guard of flight sims used to look like. So you're certainly you're certainly welcome to do so, is what I'm trying to say. Okay, I think we went heading bug because the system saw I was ascending too quickly. So that's fine. I want to get down to 2,000 feet anyway. Let's get down to. Let's do 210 knots for now. And I should be able to descend quickly enough to get down to position, but also not freak anybody out on approach. JetBlue is has just taken off runway 32, and they're going to be going to what, Fort Lauderdale? Yeah, okay. So great. Oh, you're pointing to my flagrant exceeding of the 250 knot speed limit? Oops. Well, I tell you what. Let me let me set myself up. Let's see. 32 minus 18 is 14. So let's go ahead and 140. That's the reciprocal for the runway. And then we will probably deploy some speed brake because yes, I am going fast. Half speed brake, actually three quarter. Board meeting, and we're almost to 2,000 feet. So the cool part is going to be I'm going to kind of give myself an imaginary extended center line. And then once I'm like 10 nautical miles out further from Cuddly, we'll be configured for the altitude and we'll be able to start slowing down even more. I have a number for you to call, and the roasts begin. Iowa Scotsman, hello, welcome, friend. We are on our way into Nassau tonight. Okay, let's go ahead, recycle, rearm the ground spoilers, and let's take some flaps once we actually turn back. I'm going to have to realign to Cuddly, but I'm going to wait like another 2 minutes before I make my turn. And let's go ahead and take. Actually, no. We're right on the bleeding edge of clean speed, so we should be fine to get turned around. Although I probably will start slowing down once I make the turn. And actually, slowing down to 180 right now is not a bad idea. So let's do that. Let's go ahead and take flaps 1 and start to make our turn back over to 320. We're idle thrust. And let's go ahead and also tune the tower. Before I do that, I'm gonna call out Nassau traffic, American 107, type Airbus A319, turning base and final RNAV runway 32, Nassau traffic. And there is literally still no one around me, so I'm okay. Let's go ahead and turn to a heading of maybe 350. And then we will. Oh, actually, I have to wait. I have to wait for it to finish getting me over to where I need to be. Once I tap that line, I should be able to go back to managed. There we go. Now I'm back on VNAV approach. And no nav intercept. We're fine now. And we're going to be down to 135. At least 145 for now. And we'll take flaps 2. And I will go ahead and activate approach mode now. If I can see it. There we go. Approach mode is active. Let's take flaps 3. And we'll do gear. And flaps full. We are flirting with the alpha floor, but we're okay. We should be fine. Fully configured, and we are app nav. So we should begin descent shortly, and the go around altitude for our approach is going to be standby chat. Approach page I think automatically sets once you get down below I think like 5,000 feet, and go around altitude is actually 2,000. So let's go ahead and continue. And I do believe we are on approach nav, so we should be okay. If I have to take over, I will take over once I get to DLP, and we are not in position as of yet. Can I see the airport? Where are we? I don't see it just yet, but we're coming up on top of drop for the approach. Where are we? Where are we? Show me the map. Oh, we don't have ATC online anymore. Okay, back to Unicom then. Nassau traffic, American 107, fully established RNAV runway 32, Nassau traffic. Oh yeah, we're flirting with the alpha floor right now. In case nobody knows, alpha floor is basically an area of airspeed at which if you fall down into that zone, the aircraft will immediately go to toga, and it will basically leave a message in your ECAM memo that basically says, hey, we had to go alpha floor, we're going toga, and I think you have to do something to either clear it or to continue after that happens. And now I'm happy to see that we are descending.
2,000.
2,000, we're beginning descent. I'm happy about that. And again, I'm going to double check my approach page, but yeah, again, I didn't have to activate this. I wrote it in, and basically it's set to go. Go around altitude is already set, so if we have to, we can go around. And we have a flight plan that says if we do go missed, we go to Zutun, and then we hold with right turns. And then what I'm assuming would happen would be if we want to break that hold, we would then go to choose the approach again. Who is that? My goodness. Okay, we're coming up. All right. We are on approach. We are landing no blue. Cabin's been notified. Gear is down 3 green. Ground spoilers are armed. Flaps are full. And the runway is in sight. There you have it, chat. 1,000. We are stable. Let's set up a little bit. I forgot to set the ortho up for Nassau and for our flight today, but honestly, default scenery with loads of ortho, ex America stuff and autogen is great. Winds are right down the nose at about 13 knots.
500,
500 autopilot off.
400,
My aircraft.
above, 300, minimum,
Continue. No stutter on final is always preferred. Let's go.
200, 100, 50, 40, 30, 20, retard, 10, 5,
Little floaty, but greased it. Down. All wheels, reversers. Up. Spoilers are go. Speed brake. 80 knots. 60 knots. Let's clean up. I'm going to wait to exit on Foxtrot, which is coming up. Brake fan on, but we didn't use it that much anyway. There we go, chat. Welcome down. Welcome to Linden Pindling International Airport. This is Nassau. Mike Yankee, November, November. Linden Pindling traffic, Air American 197 taxiing to Apron 2 via Hotel 3, Hotel 2. Linden Pindling. Okay, let's go ahead and hit the APU bleed and start up the APU. There we are. Wonderful. Feels wonderful to grease the landing. I did float. I did float. There's no question in my mind about that. I wish I didn't, but at the same time, it is what it is. And we will put the spoilers away. There we go. All right. Default airport scenery, but hey, default looks nice. And I'm probably going to go ahead and stop just about here. I think that's good. Or right about there. And it looks absolutely wonderful outside. Good gravy. Take a screenshot of that. And like we usually like to do, to have fun and to chill for a little bit, we're going to go ahead and hit the replay button and enjoy it. We automatically disconnected from VATSIM because we wanted to replay mode, but that's great. And we're going to go ahead and rewind. Well, I mean, ground rules for replay in X-Plane 12. You rewind You do not move the the that ball to seek a specific time. You don't do that. There's always the chance you could crash, but honestly, we got to the airport, we enjoyed ourselves. I'm happy with what I've seen. And there's a little bit of stuttering, but basically we're kind of just like rewinding the clock here. This was real time, real weather, looked wonderful. I'm happy with the experience. We'll do a couple of replays. We'll
20,
do the
50,
external view, and then we'll do the cabin view, and then we'll just
300.
check out. This is on our way in, and honestly, default X-Plane 12 is some of the best default scenery I've ever seen in any sim, period. Looks like the ILS or NDB is a little cooked. No, that was a VOR. Yeah, just a tiny, tiny float and a little bit left of center line, but honestly, wonderful. I remember the old days, man. Don't know why the interview still has the outside sounds. But let's go to the flight deck. Blockbuster, Palmer. Dude, it was nothing to be back in the day going to like Blockbuster on a Saturday night to get some movies to watch with with the missus when I was dating at the time, and that's a bygone era. Okay, I don't have my landing plugin. I'd probably say that was like close to like 190, 220, maybe even 240, but nothing crazy. And that's how CFM engines look when you're activating thrust reversers. They're fantastic, honestly. The taxi to gate is basically me taxiing around with the spoilers up. I forgot to actually tuck them in once I actually exited the runway, but is what it is. Again, an amazing flight. I'm happy that we actually got in safely at such a great, wonderful, picturesque time of day. You're gonna go to baggage claim. You're gonna get on the bus to take you to like the Atlantis Resort, or you're gonna take the van to take you to you know Royal Caribbean or NCL, and you're gonna begin your cruise, and you're gonna settle in for your dinner tonight, and you're gonna be like, wow, that was wonderful. But also, in case you're still here, Roma 112, one of the things that X-Plane 12 does incredibly, incredibly well is default scenery. And by default scenery, I mean default airports. This is a default airport. This is a scenery that somebody put together using default assets in X-Plane 12. And what I found on average, if you put a default airport in X-Plane 12 up against a default airport in Microsoft Flight Simulator, the default airport in X-Plane 12 will basically win every single time. And that's because people create these airports by hand, or at least I'd be willing to believe that. So these airports are a very good representation of what the airports actually look like in the real world. Are they a perfect representation? No. They're either built a little bit differently, or they have more grime, or they have more stuff on the tarmac, or the windows are different, or the building materials are slightly different. But people are creating these airports using basic or base the base library of X-Plane 12 assets. So that means they're limited to creating the airports to look like their real world counterparts based on a few things. But again, this is amazing. Let's go ahead and kick out of the replay mode. And now we're going to go ahead and, since we're running the APU bleed, turn off the taxi light and kick off both engines. Go to 2000 standby. We're in 2000 standby. Turn weather off, PWS off, GCS off, and we'll go ahead and turn off the seatbelt signs. And we will turn off the APU once we get ground power connected. So we'll get chocks on, external power on, high and low pressure air, so people have a very nice deboarding experience. Turn external power on, APU bleed off, probe heat off, APU off, fuel off so the APU can shut off even faster, and then we will turn off the IRS and turn off the logo lights, and that's it. Turn off the emergency exit lighting, standby compass off, and that's it. I should be able to request jetway attachment. And there we go. One major difference between X-Plane 11 and X-Plane 12. X-Plane 12 does a standard jetway attachment at standard airports, which kind of takes me back to the days of Microsoft Flight Simulator X, where default airports had animated jetways. And there you have it. Again, we're flirting with 7:30, so I think if it was like 6:30, I probably would have like said, okay, I'm gonna take a break, close the sim, reopen it with ortho, and then we're gonna fly back to Orlando, and then basically we were like dealing with ATC clearance, all that stuff. But I think for today, I'm gonna go ahead and call it here. And to be completely honest with you, the default scenery for Nassau looks absolutely wonderful. I can't tell from here if they have any boats at the cruise terminal. They don't appear to at the moment, but there you have, it's either on this coast or the other coast where they actually have the Atlantis resort. I think it's the same coast, so I think this is the actual place, but the scenery isn't the same. So I think the crew and the pilots are going to debrief, grab some coffee, and I think I'm going to go ahead and get myself set for the rest of the evening. I don't think I'll be on tomorrow since I'm going to have some friends over, and I might do another explain flight during the week. It depends, but I want to see what my upcoming schedule is going to look like. I will let you guys know. I'm most definitely at this point not going to be able to afford Expo this year, so I will not be attending it in person. What I do plan on doing is I am going to buy the virtual ticket and watch on Friday. I have my time off, so I'm going to enjoy some time off that Friday and Monday, and we're going to I see I'm going to watch the stuff. I'm not going to be broadcasting that probably because of obvious copyright reasons, but I'm going to watch that, have fun with it, and maybe even do something chill on those weekends in that vicinity because 4th of July is basically going to be like right right after that. to be completely honest with you, I wanted to go. I really, really, really wanted to go. Mrs. Digi was like, "Man, we're gonna do it. We're gonna set aside the funds." And then we had unexpected issues come up, like they sometimes do. And we had to make a choice, and we chose the important things. And those things were take care of the important things first. There might be an expo in the future. I don't know if it's going to be in Providence again next year or if it's going to be somewhere else. I kind of sort of almost hope it goes back to Vegas or Orlando because both of those locations would probably be great to go to for additional things you can do while you're there. But, ran out of funds. Ran out of funds. So, again, the smart choice is e-ticket, stay home, watch it in your PJs, make yourself lunch, and just enjoy the experience, catch up with everybody who's probably going to be there. Unfortunately, it looks like more than a few people that I wanted to meet are not going to be there. So this might be a good year to bow out. And then maybe if it's in Vegas next year, if it's in Orlando next year, then what's going to happen is they're going to the people are going to make more of a concerted effort to go because, for example, let's just assume it goes to Vegas next year. Mrs. Digi and I go to Vegas. We can go to Expo. We can check out some shows or some resorts. We can maybe even go to like a national park. Go to the Hoover Dam, or go to Joshua Tree or Palm Springs, or we can go further to maybe check up on some people in the greater Flagstaff area or Phoenix area, or we can go further north. So there are options, and we could potentially make an even bigger trip out of it. Fly up to Denver, fly up to Grand Junction, go to Jackson, all that stuff. Do I feel bad at this point? No, I'm not worried about it. We're gonna go ahead and enjoy. I'm gonna go ahead and join the virtual ticket attendance and try to figure out something nice to do with Mrs. DG over the summer because honestly, that's a bigger priority for me, and I have no problem with that. I'm hoping to hear some stuff from Laminar Research. I'm hoping to get some feedback, not some feedback, but some updates from the Microsoft team about the direction they plan to take for 2024 because the release and the updates to date are probably making it better. But I'd like to see a little bit more from them with regards to what they plan to do with the sim. Because I fly 2020 a lot more than I fly 2024. I have both, but I need to see what's going to be happening with it in the future. Oh, sorry to hear your internet dropped. I've just been chatting about, my feelings about attending Expo versus attending virtually. We'll see. We'll see. I want to check and see something. Hang on. We're not on VATSIM. I'm gonna go ahead and turn my XPilot off. Let's see who is actually on right now that I could probably send you folks to if you want more flight sim content. So, follow channels high to low. We have my friend Continuum doing X-Plane 12 of all things, flying the Cessna 172. We have who else? My friend Book of Gaming is doing Final Fantasy 15 and doing games on demand because he plays or speedruns Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, the arcade game on the Nintendo Entertainment System, and he's been called up to Games Done Quick this year. And Torbinator is actually flying in X-Plane 12, flying I don't know what, but he's in X-Plane 12, that much I know. I think I'm going to go ahead and send you folks over to. Let me see, actually. Let me open up a separate window. Stand by. Okay. Somebody is playing Final Fantasy. He's playing Final Fantasy 15 right now. So I think he's playing that before anybody else contributes so that he can play something else. Let's go ahead and raid. Let's go ahead and raid Conti and say hi. So let me go ahead and say hello. Checker marks. Thank you so much, friend. Thank you so much to everybody that's stuck around today. I appreciate all of you. Thank you to my lurkers. Thank you to, again, Remo112 for the follow. And appreciate all of you. Appreciate my friends. And probably look for even more X-Plane 12 content in the near future because, again, I'm really enjoying the sim again. And even in default scenery appearance, this thing looks so wonderful. I'm starting to raid right now. Stand by. And much love to everybody. And like I always like to say at the end of every stream, if you want true peace, you want the Prince of Peace. And that is Jesus Christ. Take care, my friends. Much love to all of you. Have a great rest of your weekend. And until next time.